Welcome to Tracy Erin Talks, where functional medicine meets personal development. You want to be living your best life, but the overwhelming amount of health information out there is confusing, and the way you think about yourself is keeping you stuck. You know you are meant for more. As a women's health specialist, my aim is to simplify and equip you with the tools you need to be beautifully balanced from the inside out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tracy Erin Talks. Today, I am your host, Tracy Erin, and we are talking about something I know a lot of you are going to feel deep into your bones, and that is the hormone burnout cycle. You know what that is. It's the endless loop of dragging yourself through every day, trying to ignore the fatigue, brushing off the mood swings, and thinking, if I can just push through, it'll be okay. But here's the thing. Powering through is not a solution. I know I'm speaking to all of you high achievers, mothers who do it all, but today I'm going to tell you exactly why and show you how to break free. So I want to paint a picture for you. Imagine you've had a stressful day. If you work outside of the home or you've been taking care of the kids all day, you're running on fumes and you decide to skip the wind down because there's just too much to do. So you end up hitting the bed exhausted, but when you wake up, you're still tired. The coffee barely touches your energy, and by mid-afternoon, you're back to zombie mode, pushing yourself with sheer willpower. Second cup of coffee, third cup of coffee. Sound familiar? And this is what I call the hormone burnout cycle. It's that trap where stress, fatigue, exhaustion, they just become your norm. That is what you wake up to. It is what you go to bed to. And I'm going to be real with you. It doesn't go away on its own. It's a cycle that repeats itself until we finally decide to intervene. So let's talk about why we call this burnout. What is behind this whole process? When our hormones are out of whack, it's not just in our head, despite what maybe medical system and doctors have told you. It's definitely not because you're not trying hard enough. There are actual biological processes at play. Okay, so take cortisol, for example. When we're under chronic stress, our cortisol levels spike. And cortisol's job is to keep us alert and in fight or flight mode, which is fine in these short bursts. We actually need it for survival. But when it stays high for too long, it ends up draining your adrenal glands. And then what happens? You wake up feeling like you need a nap, and no amount of caffeine really helps. Your get up and go has got up and left. What about estrogen and progesterone? When these two are out of balance, whether due to perimenopause, stress, lifestyle choices, we get mood swings. PMS feels out of control. And that hormonal rage that we can't quite tame. I know it sounds intense, but it's real. And plenty of women come to me talking about this rage, and they have a lot of shame about it because they feel like they should be able to control their emotions and they just can't. But it's not their fault. So how do we catch these red flags before we're completely burned out? Here's where it gets powerful. We have to understand the early warning signs. Early warning signs, okay? Red flags. They can look like this. Fatigue that lingers no matter how much you rest. You wake up tired, you're ready for bed by lunch, you're just dragging. Or mood swings that feel random, completely out of control. 1 minute you're fine, the next, everything's feeling overwhelming. What about brain fog? That makes even simple decisions feel exhausting. Or walking into a room and you can't remember why you're there. Just in general, feeling like you're in survival mode, like you're just barely making it through each day. I want you to know that these signs are your body's way of asking for help. They're not something that you have to live with forever, but we should listen to them while our body is whispering to us. Or as you've heard before, our body will eventually begin to scream and shout, and we won't have an option whether or not to listen. We will be forced to listen. As they say, you make time for health before you are forced to make time for your illness. And I firmly believe that's where prevention comes into play. So this is where the magic happens, is the way we break this cycle is not by adding another cup of coffee, as much as I love a latte, or pushing yourself even harder, as much as determination is one of my personal gifts. It is about taking a holistic approach to that balance. And that's exactly what the 4-step balanced hormone method does. Okay, so let's dive into each of these steps. Number 1, lifestyle medicine. Forget taking the right supplements if we're not going to do the right things day in and day out. We're talking about sleep, nutrition, movement, stress management. These are the basics, but done in a way that works with your hormones instead of against them. For example, did you know that just walking in nature can reduce your cortisol levels? How about standing outside barefoot in the grass? Small shifts like this can change everything. I know it sounds underrated, but it's true. Number 2, transformational thinking. Our mindset can be a hidden source of stress. I work with clients on shifting from survival mode to thriving mode by addressing the thoughts and beliefs that keep us stuck. It's more than self-talk. It's like rewiring your mental relationship with stress. Step 3, detoxification. And no, I'm not talking about juice cleanses. I'm talking about supporting your liver and gut so your body can metabolize hormones properly. When these systems are sluggish, everything else suffers. We all have a toxic burden. I don't know how big your bucket is or what you've put in it over the course of your lifetime. But what I do know is that each one of us need to prioritize reducing the contents of our bucket on a daily basis. Number 4 is that personalized testing. And that's where we get into the meat of hormone health, because you're a unique individual. Testing is absolutely key here. And that is why I use the Dutch Complete test, because we want a complete assessment of what's going on. And that's how we know where you stand today. That empowers you to know what changes you need to make. When you see yourself on paper, it does something for you. It convinces you in a way that me on the other side of a Zoom call isn't quite able to do. Testing is very powerful to give you an inside look at what's really going on. So with these tests, we can identify these imbalances like cortisol, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, etc. And then we can begin to support your body's unique needs to rebalance. Yours are different than mine. Mine are different than yours. Unique testing is essential. So I know it can feel impossible to imagine life beyond the burnout if this is you. So let me share a story. A client of mine, let's call her Morgan, she came to me exhausted. She was in survival mode, dealing with mood swings that had her snapping at her family, feeling like she was barely holding on. And through the balanced hormone method, she learned to take back control. With just a few adjustments in lifestyle, clearing out toxins that were dragging her down, and personalized supplements, she's now waking up with energy, feeling present with her family, finally living instead of surviving. That is the whole point. So I want to leave you today with a quick self-check. I want you to ask yourself, am I pushing myself past my limit every day? Do I feel like my body is just dragging me along? If your answer is yes, it's time to take a closer look at what's going on with your hormones. I want you to remember that burnout is not a badge of honor. It's a call for change. So if you're ready to start that journey, check out my Balanced Hormone Solution. It's a 90-day program aimed at reversing all of this. It's easy steps to get clear on your unique hormone needs. So thanks so much for joining me today. If you're in this cycle of burnout, just know that you're not alone. And more importantly, there is a way out. You deserve to feel like yourself again. I'll see you next time on Tracy Erin Talks, where we'll keep breaking down what it takes to live a balanced, vibrant life.
Thank you for joining me today on Tracy Erin Talks. I hope you found today's episode enriching to your life. If you enjoyed today's content, would you consider subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review? That simple act helps this podcast get into the hands and ears of many more women just like you. Remember, anything you want and do not yet have will require a new set of beliefs, thoughts, actions, and a new you. I am honored to be on this journey with you as we wholeheartedly pursue true health and wellness in mind, body, and soul.